I'm here with David from Qdrant. First, a little bit about vectors, like why they're important. Here's my understanding. Vectors are numbers that allow LLMs to represent different word combinations, and they're important in particular if you're looking to reference a large corpus of documents, you're looking for relevant information, and you're looking to bring that into a response from an LLM back to a user. That's helpful, and as we're rolling out more RAG implementations, the vector part of it has been important. Is that fair?
Yeah, that sounds great. Also, one thing I like to say is that vectors are the language of machine learning. If you want to work in AI, you want to work with machine learning, and you have to use vectors. So what Qdrant really is, on the basic level, is it's a data management system for anybody who wants to use vectors. We like to call it a vector database because it's very easy for people to understand the word database. But it doesn't just store and query data, it's a search engine on a much more complex level. For the most part, what we advertise is semantic search, but we can do a whole lot of things when it comes to really retrieving information. You can help people retrieve information semantically, things that are deeply meaningful and related to each other. But you can also have recommendations and things like that. You can do reverse recommendations. Tell me something that I should not be seeing, kind of thing. You can also have it tell you how to explore stuff and discover new things you never even thought possible. So there are a lot of flavors of this search that we offer with the product.
Rumor has it that the X team used Qdrant to implement their similar tweets feature. So essentially what they're doing is when you look at a tweet or a post on the X platform, they're going to show you similar types of tweets that have also been made on the platform. And that's tough because you have to understand the meaning of that particular tweet. You have to find other tweets that are similar to that, and you have to bring that back all in real time as the user is looking at the tweet.
This is a complete rumor, and I know absolutely nothing about this, but I will tell you about some confirmed and supported customers that we have.
Yeah.
So Dailymotion, for example, the video streaming service, they are using us for recommendations. But what's really interesting about this recommendations is the more you click on a video, the more it narrows down your context, the more it learns what you like, and it suggests videos that you might be interested in. Also, there's large corporations like Johnson & Johnson who are using us for some internal purposes. There's Mozilla, there's Discord, there's also Gitbook for documentation. We have Quora, so anytime you type something into the search, you're also going to be seeing some semantically relevant responses. And
so let me ask you a question. When do you need a vector database? Are there times when you don't, and the instances where you do? What's the sort of the typical signal that you might need a whole solution just for storing and retrieving the vectors?
So a dedicated solution for vector retrieval is definitely necessary when you have a whole lot of vectors being used. You're turning all of this massive type of information that you want your AI application to use. You need to turn it into vectors, you need to manage it, maintain it, and retrieve it properly. You could be using like different appendages, different additions like pgvector and MongoDB, which are really great. But really when you start getting into the zone where you want to have millions of vectors going in and looking it up, thousands of, 1,024 dimensions of vectors, you really have a heavy workload in front of you. So you want a dedicated product that really quickly retrieves things for you at the minimum resource expenditure. So something that we're extremely proud of as compared to the other products out there is it doesn't take a whole lot of memory to retrieve information. The resource requirements are very low, and you can even further compress all the information that you put into database to retrieve it at like blazing fast speeds. And this is extremely important to enterprises because what we're seeing more and more is that these users they have massive and vast amounts of vectors that they're putting in.
Absolutely, and latency is key, right? Like if you go on, looking for similar posts on X, you want that to be immediate. Otherwise, you're going to lose the customer experience there.
And one thing we're super proud of is our benchmarks that we offer as an open source service that everybody else from the other competing vector databases support, the open source ones. So on our website, qdrant.tech, we also have this benchmarking system that you guys can clone and try it yourself on just the bare bone basic machines to see that Qdrant really does offer very low latency and very high performance for what you get. And I do want to say this is an open source product, so you can just take it and do whatever you want with it, and we're there to support.
Awesome. So as developers are thinking about the solution that they're going to put in place for vector databases, you talked about latency and performance. How should teams be thinking about setting up that test, and how should they be framing up the evaluation of different options that are out there?
I think, let's say you're doing some RAG type solution. There's different benchmarks that you can use for RAG evaluation, for RAG quality. We actually offer some on our website that we support. We've been doing a tour worldwide in terms of events where we take different RAG situations and evaluate the quality of the retrieval and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we're already kind of looking at that situation and seeing how we can support all of our users so they know what they're getting when they're using Qdrant.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. You had a great post earlier today on LinkedIn about breaking into the U.S. market and your experience here at GenAI. You want to wrap that up for us?
Yeah. So Qdrant is a Berlin-based company, and it was a motley crew of really cool guys who are super hardcore, super uncompromising engineers. They're not turning anything into a platform. It's
right.
a bare bone product that just does one thing perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's been for about a year and a half. It's been operating just out of Berlin, but it recently expanded to New York City. So there's another branch over there now, and we're spreading to the American market because we have a lot of customers in the United States, and we want to reach out to them. We want to see them. So this was our first event, first major event today and yesterday, and we're just overwhelmed. We never expected that people would come up to us and say, "Hey, are you the owners of Qdrant?" Take selfies with us. Because we're working remote, right? So we're not expecting any of this stuff. We just think it's still an experiment on our end.
Right.
And we don't think all of these people are just doing it for their daily purposes.
Yeah, and I heard about you guys via X. I think someone was posting about this feature being powered by Qdrant, and so that's how I heard about you guys. So maybe there's a lot of folks that are following the tech Twitter crowd there.
Yeah, there's some really cool use cases that are supported by Qdrant. We're actually starting to lose track of everybody, and people are coming up to us and there's people from very high-profile companies saying they're experimenting with Qdrant. And it's kind of, we're actually just trying to rise to the occasion, so to say, because it's getting pretty crazy.
Awesome. Thank you, David. How can people get in contact with you? How can people try out Qdrant?
So Qdrant.tech is our website. Qdrant on GitHub, Qdrant. And it's super easy. I mean, you can just download locally the Python SDK if you're working with Python. You can run the whole thing locally. You can run it on premise with Docker. But one of the dead easiest ways to start is to just sign up for Qdrant Cloud. You get a 1 gigabyte access to the vector search. It's forever free. It's not going away, so you just keep it. You don't get any notices or any emails or anything like that. Just try out vector search. And on the website for documentation, we have a lot of tutorials and things that you can use to kickstart and just do our basic RAG thing on your own. Show your friends, show your boss, and demonstrate some expertise.
Cool. If you're at the GenAI Summit, they're right at the beginning, right at the entrance. You guys got prime real estate right here. Entrance is right there, and they come and you can talk to David. Okay, well, thanks, David, for your time. Vector database is a big deal. RAG is a very popular implementation of LLM-powered applications, and if you're going to do that, it's best to have a dedicated vector database option to do that. And Qdrant, thanks for giving us the time.
Thank you so much.